Celebrate Jonathan Ogden's Hall of Fame career with this limited edition collector's magazine, which covers Ogden's career from high school to the pros and beyond. Enjoy behind-the-scenes stories from his coaches, as well as the team's decision to make Ogden the Ravens' first ever draft pick in 1996. Reserve your copy now at PressBoxOnline.com. And welcome back to Inside PressBox. Time now for our Photo of the Week. As always, the Photo of the Week is brought to you by Yuengling Lager, a true American classic. Taste the quality of the 180 years of family-owned and operated tradition, brews into every single bottle. Just last weekend, Towson University hosted the 2013 Under Armour All-American Lacrosse Classic, featuring the best high school lacrosse players in the U.S. and Canada. Two of our viewers submitted these photos. Pictured here are the four senior girls of McDonough High School in Owings Mills, all of whom were selected to represent the South squad, who fell just shy of a victory over the North, 18-16, but all was not lost for the South, as the boys of Baltimore, pictured here, shined in their big game in the boys division. The South overcame the North 28-24. And as I mentioned, these photos were provided by viewers just like you. So if you're out at a local sporting event and you snap a good shot, we want to see it. So just go to PressBoxOnline.com/photos and upload your picture. If we like it, it could become our Photo of the Week. And with me now, as promised, is Ravens beat writer Joe Platania. And Joe, it's hard to believe as we're talking, we're about 10 days away, but when people see this show, we'll be 1 week away from start of training camp.
I'll tell you what, these years roll by, and as I always say, time flies and it doesn't care if you're having fun. But when it comes to covering sports and covering the Baltimore Ravens, as I've done since year one, it is a ton of fun, and we get to go back on that merry-go-round again starting on the 21st.
Hey, before we talk about this year's Ravens team, let's go back to the very beginning, because we just ran that promo for our first commemorative magazine in about 3 years, since the 58 Colts, the 58th anniversary. So maybe it's been more like 4 years. But our commemorative magazine on Jonathan Ogden, you contributed a couple stories. It's pretty unbelievable that his career has come and gone, and the 5 years have come and gone, and he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
I'll tell you what, I can still remember where I was on draft day at the Ravens complex, the old one, which is now Stevenson.
Part of Stevenson University.
Absolutely, yep. And they're getting ready to make the 4th overall pick in 1996, and I was kind of surprised they took a tackle, because Tony Jones was the left tackle at the time, but the Ravens, Ozzie Newsome, all the gang there, they were very forward-looking in their approach. They were going to stick Ogden at guard, move him over to left tackle. Tony Jones went on to the Denver Broncos and got
won two Super Bowls.
Won 2 Super Bowls, and then Jonathan had a great career here, a lot of Pro Bowls and a Super Bowl himself, so it worked out well.
How special is this for a guy to go in, whomever it was, but such a great guy, as the first Baltimore Raven?
It's very, very special. The Ravens wanted to make a good first impression with their first ever draft pick, and to pick such a sterling human being and an outstanding football player, one of the best tackles in what's kind of been a golden era for the left tackle position when you consider guys like Walter Jones, Willie Rofe, Orlando Pace, so many great ones. The first pure left tackle in the Hall of Fame was a Baltimore Colt named Jim Parker.
Yep.
So it's very appropriate now that Jonathan Ogden, the 4th one to wear the Ravens uniform in the Hall of Fame, but the first pure Raven.
Exactly. And 5 years hence, Ray Lewis will go in as the second pure Raven to go into the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. Class of 2018 could be loaded. Rondé Barber, Brian Urlacher, and Ray Lewis all become first-time eligible.
Who on this Ravens squad that's going to take the field next week might be a Hall of Famer one day?
I'll tell you what, that's a tough one to kind of lay down right at this point. But Ray Rice, early in his career, he's kind of shown himself to be a very versatile, very explosive, very charismatic kind of guy. And yes, that does count in the voting room. I've talked to a lot of the Hall of Fame electors, and sometimes attitude and your PR persona, sometimes that can mean everything. But when you tack on what Ray Rice has done statistically and the versatility he's shown, he's pretty much a pretty fair candidate to go to the doors of Canton whenever his career ends.
We've only got about a minute and a half. This was a jam-packed show, my first show back, and I appreciate your coming on once with Gary while I was away. But tell us about this defense this year. We'll get you in again in a couple weeks. We'll talk offense. So many changes on defense. Does it have a chance to be a better defense than it was a year ago when it was middle of the road at best?
Yes, it's younger, it's faster, it's healthier. Maybe if it's healthier, that would be a really big key, because injuries really took a toll on the unit last year. It ended up ranked in the middle of the NFL. It was only the 5th time in the history of the team, and the first time since 2002, that it was ranked outside the top 10. So when you consider the youth, the depth, the speed, it does have a chance to be better.
Is this the type of defense that if they get through the first 5, 6, 7 weeks of the season, where they're at least 3-3, 4-3, that they could become a much more dominating defense when they know each other's moves?
Yeah, that's what training camp's for, and the OTAs and minicamp before that, to see if these guys can gel and play together and work within a scheme. So if the cohesion's there, the dominance will be there.
All right. Joe, a pleasure.
Great to have you back.
Hard to believe we've worked together for 7 years on PressBox, but you've been a big part of our success. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And remember, you can always get the most detailed Ravens coverage, news and coverage with Joe's Ravens Reports only at PressBoxOnline.com. When we come back, we'll wrap things up for another edition of Inside PressBox. Don't go away.
Play 5-card cash from the Maryland Lottery and you could really hit it big. Become the contestant of the game or win other great Orioles prizes. Just go to mdlottery.com/Orioles for details.